Hello, this is your friend Mauricio Perez. Welcome back to the second lesson of our special series to help you understand the sacrament of the Eucharist and help your children to get ready to receive their first Holy Communion. Our topic today is We Gather. We must begin by understanding the meaning of the word church. The English word church comes from the Latin word ecclesia, which in turn comes from the Greek word ekklesias. This is important to know because this word ekklesias was used in the translation to Greek of the Hebrew Scriptures, known as the Septuagint, to translate the Hebrew word kahal. This Hebrew word kahal is used in the Bible to refer to the congregation of the people of Israel, kahal. For instance, when they gathered as a congregation in a synagogue, or when they gathered as a congregation around Mount Sinai. In the New Testament, this same word ecclesias is used to refer to the universal community, which is the church, also to the local communities or local churches, and to the liturgical assembly. From all this we can see that the church is an assembly of people. This means that the church is a community. As a community, we gather in assembly. Why is it so important that we gather? As we know, the center of the church is the Eucharist. It is so central to our life that it is the summit and the source of all Christian life. And the Eucharist is a meal. The matter of this sacrament is bread and wine. However, this bread and wine are not an ordinary meal, but a banquet. This makes a very significant difference. When we eat alone, we simply fulfill the need to nourish our body. We could say that eating alone, eating by ourselves, is just an animal act. But on the contrary, when we eat with others, eating becomes a human act. Eating with others means gathering to share the table, to share the meal, to share our conversation, to share our time, in a word, to share ourselves. In a banquet, we gather and we share, because we are community. Let's review the order of the Mass as described in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. First, all gather together. Then we celebrate the liturgy of the Word, followed by the presentation of the offerings. Then we have the Eucharistic prayer, which is composed by the preface, the epiclesis, the institution narrative, the anamnesis, the intercessions, and lastly we have communion. Did you pay attention? Really? Can you tell me then, how does the Mass exactly begin? It is important to notice how the very first part of the Mass is precisely the gathering of the community. Even the temple is designed with this purpose. Typically, at the entrance of the church, we find a vestibule that we call the narthex. This narthex is separated from the central nave of the temple by a door that we call the threshold. This threshold is not an ordinary door. It has the purpose to symbolize precisely that we gather to celebrate the Eucharist by crossing this threshold. A procession will come from the narthex, crossing the threshold and symbolizing the gathering of all the faithful who are present to celebrate the Eucharist. As a community, we gather around the table of the Lord because we are the church. Thank you for your attention. See you next time.